If you're learning to drive and you want to get a cool car, what do you buy? Because clearly there's so much option out there. There's loads of new cars and they're all on easy finance, making it easy to buy anything. But actually, there are a lot of cool cars that you can buy as a principal that you can get for 10k or less. And these are the best 5 cars you can buy for 10k. You know how difficult it is to get a car you like, especially when you're young and you really like cars. But if you don't like cars, I guess this video isn't for you and you can go and buy your car on finance. If you're new here, I'm Cars with Ben and I've been making car content for 5 years, so I'm pretty knowledgeable on what cars to buy and what not to buy. If you do like that, consider subscribing because clearly I've been making it for far too long. So if you are on your second car and you're looking to get another car afterwards, these are the cars you should 100% go for because you will not regret it, and I promise you they are sensible and brilliant cars. You're just taking a step up to get something better. Starting with why you've clicked on this video, there's a 350Z on the thumbnail, so let's talk about it. The 350Z is 100% a brilliant car for anyone who's known about cars. It became famous in games like Need for Speed and Fast and Furious. And the 350Z for me is a really iconic car. It still looks great today, even though it's over 20 years old. And you don't see that many of them, so you would really like to stand out in it if that's something you want for your next car. A 350Z is pretty reliable and Nissan maintenance goes for a very long time as long as you look after it. The only downside of owning a 350Z is that in the UK at least, you're going to have high cost of tax, which is very expensive, roughly in that £600 to £700 mark. Don't forget that modifying a 350Z is so universal, you can get parts everywhere. I would quite like to own one, I'm not going to lie, but this kind of moves on to the second car because I own this. This is my Toyota GT86 and after owning it for 4 years, I can 100% say this is the absolute best car you could buy if you wanted to be into cars and get it under 10k. The GT86 is brilliant. Brilliant on the roads, brilliant for being a GT car, being a track car. You can do so much to it, it's very versatile. However, if you are planning to buy a GT86 because you're doing a lot of miles, that would probably be not something I consider. Because the GT86 needs its maintaining every 5,000 miles or 1 year or so for oil, this can really wear away at the engine and I wouldn't recommend it as a long distance car. That is not to say that the GT86 was unreliable though, because it isn't. It's actually extremely easy to maintain and don't let that put you off. As long as you oil it, really, that's all you need. And if you just take it to the garage, they'll do the job for you. I thought about you 20-year-olds, I know the market. Probably the cheapest car on this list is 100% the BMW Z4. You can buy these for £2 grand, although I would caution on that side and probably go up to the £3 grand mark. The Z4 for me is something that I still to this day want to own, and the reason is it's a definitive classic sports car, which I think is going to age super well. This generation of Z4 was my favourite, and it came after the Z3 because they stopped making it. The Z3 was pretty iconic in James Bond films, and I always wished the narrative of James Bond carried on with BMW. The Z4 turned up in other spy films, which I won't name, and it never had the limelight that the Z3 had. However, the Z4 is awesome because it's so cheap, so reliable from what I hear in owners clubs, and it just looks good. Like, it's a classic simple sports car, a bit like the MX-5, but I didn't want to include it in this list because I talked about that enough on this page. From what I can tell, Z4 ownership is brilliant. Modifications don't seem to come around that often, and when you do, they are quite nice. And obviously any cautionary message would of course go to a BMW because it is a BMW, so maybe it's been ranked a bit harder. Generally speaking, a Z4 in terms of a BMW is one of the best BMWs you can buy. There's not much to say. I'd probably go for the coupe personally, and I kind of am considering that, but if you have one, let me know in the comments. This one's going to be a controversial one, but I do think this is a future classic, and if you can afford it, definitely go for it. This is the Porsche Cayman from 2005 to 2013. But if you can pinch 10 grand and maybe another 5k in repairs if you need it, that'll be perfect. The Cayman is a perfect way of getting into Porsche without having to go to a 911, but also without having a cheap Boxster. And yes, these cars aren't reliable. Depending on what you go for, they could have been tracked and they are known for oil starvation, but similarly, so is the GT86. Often they have higher mileage as well, but if they've been looked after, they should be okay. But this car has aged fantastically, like pretty much most Porsches, and I would love to own one once I've got a little bit more maintenance money, and that's the key. Get the maintenance money. Don't get it because you can get it. It's common for the 3.4 litre to have seen track days, which is where they will be absolutely battered, and there is a 2.7 litre as well to consider. But on the whole, the Cayman is a really reliable sports car for what it is and competes with almost modern cars today. Just do your inspections and you will have a future classic. I promise, it is so good. And if you are brave enough, could you modify it like this one? On the whole, Cayman should not really have that many issues, but being a Porsche, it is liable to have issues. And don't forget, that is a mid-engine car, so more difficult to work on, meaning more labour equals more of your money out of your pocket. And here is the final car. The final car is a Honda S2000. The S2000 is not only iconic, it's a Honda, so it's reliable. But here's the thing, the Honda S2000 was a car I nearly bought. You see, when I was first looking for an upgrade for that next car after my MX-5, I thought, what could I get? And really, I was looking at GT86 or the S2000. And in my own personal experience, I can tell you, obviously I didn't go for the S2000. And there's a few reasons for this, but I still believe if I had an opportunity to own one today, I would go for it. Let's talk about my reasons. It was an older Honda versus a slightly newer Toyota. These were also on 100,000 miles, which for a lot of them, if you are looking at these at the moment, will be near that mileage. It's a 20-year-old Honda with a convertible, so my main reason really was I just didn't need another convertible. And the timeline for Honda S2000s is almost 10 years. In fact, it's 1999 to 2009, with the older ones being cheaper and the 2009 ones being the most sought after. In fact, here's a video of Yuki Tsunoda driving one. And with any development in that time, the car changed massively, so of course it got better. But if you can find one at the right price point, I would say go for it. It's got that VTEC engine, which is beautiful, so as always, make sure it's looked after. And the cool bit about S2000s is you get that funky interior. I am a sucker for the all-blue interior, frankly, it is amazing. And you've got a lot to choose from. In total, 110,000 cars were produced from Honda in that time. And if you want to know about price, you're looking at anywhere from about 7 to upwards of 25. These things are so vast and varied, so obviously if you want to stick down that lower teens part, I understand it. And once again, this will be a future classic, no doubt in my mind. S2000s were in Fast and Furious. It's an iconic, simple sports car that was a little bit faster than an MX-5. In fact, you could treat it like a bigger MX-5. And if you want a car that everyone loves, buy an S2000. I don't think anyone actually hates an S2000. It is an iconic cultural car. And finally, if you're going for the UK models, much like the 350Z, there is a more expensive tax model in that £600 to £700 range. And of course, the £300 versions are a bit more sought after. But hey, who wants a new car anyway? All of these cars, what I've just said, are brilliant. Anyway, I've been Cars with Ben, and if you do like car content or car information, do consider giving me a subscribe and like, because it really helps me out, and I do plan on making more proper good content. Here are a few videos that I have made in the past that have been pretty successful. Go and check them out. Hope you enjoy. I'll see you in the next one.